You have a list of things to do. You know exactly what needs to happen. You even want to do it. And yet, you don't. You check your phone instead. You reorganize your desk. You make another cup of coffee. You tell yourself you'll start in 10 minutes. And 10 minutes becomes 3 hours. And 3 hours becomes tomorrow. And tomorrow you hate yourself a little more than you did yesterday. Here's what nobody told you about that feeling. It isn't laziness. It isn't poor time management. It isn't a character flaw. Procrastination is an emotion regulation problem. And understanding that one sentence changes everything. In 2026, the American Psychological Association published a review of over 20 years of research on procrastination. The conclusion was clear. People don't put things off because they don't care. They put things off because the task makes them feel something uncomfortable. And their brain, trying to protect them, finds a way out. Anxiety, fear of failure, fear of judgment, perfectionism, shame. These are not the consequences of procrastination. They are the cause. Your brain doesn't weigh your to-do list against your goals. It weighs how the task makes you feel right now against how something else makes you feel right now. And if the task feels threatening, the brain will always find an escape. Inside your skull, two systems are constantly competing. The first is the limbic system, ancient, fast, emotional. It governs instinct and survival. It cannot think about next week. It only knows right now. And right now, that task feels like a threat. The second is the prefrontal cortex, younger, slower, rational. It understands deadlines. It understands consequences. It can plan for the future. But when anxiety spikes, the limbic system wins. Every time. This is why willpower alone doesn't fix procrastination. You cannot think your way out of an emotional response. You can only feel your way through it. There is a concept in neuroscience called temporal discounting. It means that the further away a reward or a consequence is, the less real it feels to your brain. Researchers discovered something fascinating about this. When people think about their future selves, their brains respond the same way they respond to thinking about a stranger. Not a friend, not even an acquaintance, a stranger. Which means when you tell yourself you'll handle it tomorrow, your brain is genuinely handing the problem to someone it doesn't know, someone it doesn't particularly care about. Your future self is a stranger to you, and you keep giving that stranger all the hardest jobs. Here's where perfectionism fits in, and this part matters. Perfectionism is not about high standards. Perfectionism is a fear of being seen as inadequate, and for a perfectionist, not starting is safer than starting and failing. If you never try, you can never truly fail. The idea of what you could have done remains perfect, untouched, impossible to criticize. But the cost is everything you never built. Psychologists call this self-handicapping, creating the conditions for failure before you even begin, so that the failure can be blamed on circumstances, not on you. The unfinished project, the application never sent, the conversation never started. All of them protected by the same quiet logic. If I don't try, no one can say I wasn't good enough. But here's what 20 years of research also shows. The people who escape chronic procrastination are not the ones who finally found enough discipline. They are the ones who learn to respond to themselves differently. Not with shame, not with, I'm so lazy, not with, why can't I just do it? With something much harder and much more effective. Self-compassion. A 2025 study from Durham University found that people who responded to their own procrastination with self-compassion, rather than self-criticism, were significantly more likely to take action afterward. The shame spiral doesn't push you forward. It digs the hole deeper. And there is one more thing the science shows. Something that feels almost too simple. The hardest moment is not the middle of the task. It is the moment just before you begin. Researchers call this the initiation barrier. The emotional resistance that exists right at the threshold of starting. Once you cross it, the task almost always feels more manageable than you imagined. Your brain was lying to you about how bad it would be. It almost always does. You are not lazy. You never were. You are a person whose brain learned to protect itself from discomfort. And somewhere along the way, the protection started costing more than the discomfort ever would have. The task is not the enemy. The feeling before the task is the enemy. And now that you can see it for what it is, you can choose to cross that line anyway. 2 minutes. That's all the research asks for. Start for 2 minutes. Not to finish, not to do it perfectly, just to begin. Because the brain that was lying to you about how hard this would be, is the same brain that will surprise you once you do.